Hello and welcome back to Crit and Crit. I'm Scint.
I'm Axion.
And we are continuing our discussion of Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea as we play through La-Mulana. So, La-Mulana is built to last, huh?
Well, it certainly has been around for a long time.
How do you think it sustains itself?
That's a spoiler. That is a big spoiler.
Well, it's also a segue. Hatfish.
Curse you, surprise fish!
Is it really a surprise fish when they're all in the same waterfalls every time?
It's just
It's more like sudden. It's more like sudden but inevitable fish.
You know what? I'll allow that. Stop!
Anyway, you could probably get a lot of use out of that fish if you could harvest it, couldn't you?
I mean, I presume it's just a regular fish that happens to be large and slightly aggressive. So, I presume it's... I'm not going to fight the mini-boss like this. I presume it's edible as much as any other fish. Presuming it's not poisonous, but...
Which is very similar to how the Nautilus functions. Captain Nemo, as he has voluntarily excised himself from the surface, makes no use of anything from the surface. Everything he uses is oceanic. They eat fish, some seaweed. Clothing is made from things they get from the sea. Oxygen is recycled from seawater.
And pulled from
the
surface air,
Yep.
Out in sea land, so they don't have to infringe on surface territories.
He doesn't overfish because he needs them to keep being able to come back because still got to eat, which means you can't take out the entire supply. So yeah, this just seemed like a really relevant thing to bring up in this day and age because there has been in recent years a much greater emphasis on sustainability than I recall in earlier years.
And a much greater opposition to it from those who take advantage or make a profit off of ignoring such things.
See, and this is where we have to bring up something that has been brought up before. Last time was in Lord of the Flies, but instant versus delayed gratification. When it comes to it, sustainability is basically just that in a nutshell. Do I get everything now, or do I take just enough and leave it there so it can replenish and I don't use up the entire supply? Or is that a problem for future corporation? Profit, 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 now, now, now.
Which is easy to do when your attention doesn't go farther than the next fist of water.
So yeah, while Nemo did not, reject society for reasons specifically of corporate greed, though, Honorable East India Company, I'm looking at you, I'm pretty sure that was involved with his objections.
I would be very surprised if not.
But yeah, so today that is more explicitly the issue around sustainability, whereas Nemo is only doing it because, well, screw you, I'm not participating with countries. So the rationale behind it is different, but the problem remains the same. Nemo knows that he can only take so much, they only need so much, there's not all that storage space on the submarine, so we take what we need, we come back later, we respect hunting seasons, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, this is obviously
Yeah.
not a lifestyle choice that would work for everyone. Primarily, Ned Land struggles with it greatly. Ned misses having meat. Fish is okay, but I would like to eat some actual meat. And, well, if that's the diet you're accustomed to, it's kind of hard to adjust, especially if the choice is not voluntary. Ned, the Professor, and Conseil did not choose this lifestyle. It was thrust upon them as a matter of, essentially being POWs.
Yep.
That would be a very interesting story of we were trapped behind enemy lines and they gave us tofu. Which is kind of essentially what's happening here, but,
Not quite as
silly.
restrictive. But a lot of the concepts are the same in that it's a very unified, specific food group that Ned is not particularly interested in participating in.
Yep. But what I find interesting is that there is honestly historical precedent for people who you would expect to not be interested in sustainability fighting for it. Teddy Roosevelt. Everybody talks about the teddy bear because, he didn't want to shoot the bear, and now we have a cute little stuffed animal that scares off the monsters when we go night-night. But he was an avid hunter, and, he fought for conservation because he wanted there to still be things that he could hunt. And overhunting means you don't get to do that. Like, if you've ever played Oregon Trail, you know that if you shoot too many things, you have to move on before you can keep hunting, because you scared everything off.
Or killed it all.
Yeah. It just says, game is becoming scarce. So you've wasted a day on this because you overhunted the day before and tried to get more meat that you couldn't carry back because your wagon can only carry so much, but you still wanted to get the high score and shoot all the buffalo. And I don't actually remember, was there a score for hunting? But it's been a while. But yeah. The point is, it's not a new thing. It has been a thing for a long, long time. It's just, there's more focus on it these days because, big gesture and everything.
I'm just gonna come right out and say it. It's different these days because we are reaching a breaking point. And we have people we've had people for decades taking notice of that and going, hey, we need to do something about this before it's too late. And now it's starting to get too late. And people are still pointing out, hey, we need to put a stop to this. We're, literally on the brink. And the people who are profiting from it are like, nope, can't hear you, la 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 la. Because it's always come down to an issue of, this is a problem for future me or my future replacement. And all I'm looking at is the next fiscal quarter. And now...
that's why the saying is, wise men plant seeds for trees that they will never sit under the shade of.
And there's so many people in positions of power who are looking at that and going, no, I don't think I will.
Yep.
I think it's time to go down.
I thought we were going to get that seal up there, or is that the wrong seal?
It wasn't glowing, so it's not the seal I got.
Okay.
I thought it would be, but nope, I have to come back later. But anyway, we have this recurring issue of increasingly the people in positions of power are looking at the current situation and going, I don't care that this is going to be an issue, or in the past they were going, I don't care this is going to be an issue in 20 years. And then their replacements are, I don't care it's going to be an issue in 10 years. And now we're coming up on the end game, and the people in power now are like, I don't care, this is going to be an issue tomorrow.
Or, let's be honest, I don't care, it's making you mad and I hate you, so that's funny.
I was about to say, and couple that with the ones who are like, this makes the people I disagree with angry. And therefore, it doesn't matter what I actually think about this, I'm gonna keep doing it because it pisses you off. And I don't like you. And unfortunately, that is becoming an increasingly common position in the modern situation.
Cutting off your nose to spite your face. We're gonna have a whole frickin' army of Voldemorts.
I do not know what I need to do to unlock that.
I don't remember.
Something down in here? Did I miss a step?
I don't think so, but it's been...
I did!
Oh, okay, yes, you do. Well, I'm wrong.
Let's see if I can do it with shurikens. Awesome! There we go.
Gotta love esoteric problem solving.
La-Mulana in a nutshell?
La-Mulana won't fit in a nutshell. Okay, now
Not with that attitude.
You're gonna need a real big nut.
I believe that should make Bahamut accessible. But yeah, we can basically, and we're talking in kind of vagaries here because this is a situation that has so many examples that if we took the time to actually explain them in individual detail, we'd be here all day. But anyone with even the vaguest familiarity with environmental issues right now can probably think of several examples off the top of their head without us doing more than falling in the water again. Than giving these vague summaries.
I mean, like, even environmentalism aside, like, there have always been... Profits are more important than disclosure if it means that we have to do something more expensive for the purposes of public safety. Like, there's a reason that gas no longer has lead in it and everything has to be labeled as unleaded. Because for years...
OSHA exists.
Yeah, because like for years, gas companies were deliberately burying the science of, yeah, no, lead poisoning is a thing. Like...
Or cigarette companies. We have...
I don't know if you want to fight Bahamut right now.
Not before healing, but I can do it after healing. I can take him.
That might have to wait for another book, though, because,
I'm gonna give him one shot.
Okay, I don't really have much else to say.
I mean, I can continue what I was saying.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because it's just like, well, there's so much focus on sustainability and being sensible and everything with that, and, well, Nemo has built himself a very self-sustaining lifestyle. Granted, his are for more political reasons than, you know, ecological necessity, though for his political reasons they do become an ecological necessity, but a very different scale. It's just interesting how you can have a kind of a parallel idea from a completely different source. So, I don't know, I just thought it was interesting.
I mean, it is. And it also is an interesting reflection on the difference between the participating parties. I don't think it's a coincidence that Ned, the North American native, was the one who kind of doesn't give a crap. And just wants to do whatever he wants to do.
I was going to say, a detail I just remembered that is relevant here, bringing up Ned, he's a whaler.
Yep.
You know, a profession that has been consistently under fire as long as I can remember. Like, I remember when I was a kid, Save the Whales had been a thing for so long that people were joking about it.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And
whaling...
I don't think it's a coincidence that Ned, the whaler, the guy who is most opposed to any kind of conservation effort, is North American. Sure, he's Canadian, and Canada's a bit better about that sort of thing these days, but Canada has a tradition, quote-unquote, of kind of inheriting some of the worst parts of the U.S.'s antics.
As I've heard it, America gets a cold and Canada sneezes. Like, the symptoms started to move up.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at, is that I don't know if it was intentional on Verne's part, but I don't think it's an inappropriate recognition of kind of the situations of the circumstances that these characters put themselves in. Being as they are in comparison with the historical nature and individual politics of certain areas. We have Nemo, who is of unknown origin, but ostensibly from India, per the sequel, as we have stated multiple times, with its unverifiable canonicity. Oh. I wasn't watching my health. And then we have Ned from Canada, and their positions could not be more different. And while Ned certainly has reason for some of his complaints, being trapped on the Nautilus and so forth, he's in the less defensible position when it comes to a lot of his opinions with regards to dealing with wildlife. And this actually comes to a head at one point in the story when Nemo notes that a pod of a certain type of lesser whale, I can't remember what he calls it or what its modern name is, but Nemo's like, these ones have gone out of control. They are killing the more limited native whales. I'm going to use the Nautilus to do some culling to bring their numbers back under control. And Ned is upset that he doesn't get to hunt either of the whales, the ones that Nemo is trying to cull down, or the ones that he's trying to protect. And Nemo makes him sit there and watch as he does basically the bare bones necessary stuff for keeping the population under control. And Ned is sitting there seething that he doesn't get to basically kill anything, and Nemo is having all the fun. Whereas it's very obvious Nemo's not doing this for fun. He is doing this because he considers it an ecological necessity to keep the balance of the ecology in the area. And I don't remember if Nemo outright says as much, but I get the impression that the reason that these whales are out of control and the ones that Ned wants to hunt are being threatened by them is because of whalers like Ned culling the numbers of the latter for profit. And that Nemo is trying to get across that You and people like you are responsible for this. I'm cleaning up your mess. Because your antics are messing up the environment. And instead of getting that message, Ned just gets Nemo is taunting me by killing whales that I can't kill and telling me I can't kill the whales that I want to. He is completely missing the message and instead focusing on how this impacts his own desires.
Also on the note of sustainability, since we did bring up whaling, whaling, as mentioned, remains controversial to this day, even though, well, back when this book was written, whaling was honestly an absolute necessity because it was so useful. Like, the blubber was useful, whale oil was useful, ambergris is still used today in perfume making, whale bone was a rather unique substance used in a lot of things, up to and including dressmaking. So, yeah, there was a lot of, we need to hunt these things because we make use of a very large portion of the animal.
We have built a lot of our society and our economy off of using parts of these creatures.
Yep. But as, well, in the modern day, like, there's still whaling, even though there have been, you know, replacements for almost everything mentioned. No one uses whale oil lamps anymore, not in, you know, any common degree in most places. Synthetic whalebone is a thing.
Or just plastic.
Yeah, well, plastic is usually implied with synthetic whalebone, but yeah, so industries can be phased out with sustainability, and those who have jobs in those industries can, you know, be left by the wayside. But what do you do if the choice comes between we've killed off this entire population due to overfishing because we needed to keep justifying having all these people on the payroll, versus not? Like, there has to be a balance, but when profit is putting its thumb on the scale constantly, it can't really be reached.
And that's honestly breaking into a bigger conversation about basing the entirety of human survivability off of an individual's ability to contribute to economical profit. And that's a much deeper, much longer, much more complex conversation that's really connected but tangential to 20,000 Leagues. And I think that wraps it up. I'm going to give Bahamut one more shot and then we'll call it a series. What do you say?
That works for me. So let's go fight a sea monster.
I was about to say, let's go whaling.
And then we shall bid the Nautilus adieu.
I'm going to laugh if I win. Ah, that's not a good start. I swear he was easier in the Wii version, or in the Switch version. Oh, I know why he was easier. I had the feather. I don't have the feather right now. If I don't win this time, I think the first thing I'll do next time we come back to this game is get the feather. I got the double hit that time. Alright, phase 2. Well, alright. That calls it. See y'all next time.
Bye.